This is Robert Frost, one of the most celebrated English poets. That's his most misunderstood poem, The Road Not Taken. This is Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher of the 19th century. That's his magnum opus, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. In the novel Thus Spoke Zarathustra, the protagonist Zarathustra, after spending 10 long years in solitude into the mountains, embarks on a journey to enlighten the mankind with his newfound wisdom. Well, what am I doing here with Frost and Nietzsche? There are striking similarities between The Road Not Taken and Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It would have been interesting if Nietzsche would have interpreted The Road Not Taken. Nietzsche passed away prior to when The Road Not Taken was published. Hence, we have to do with someone else's interpretation of Nietzsche's interpretation of Frost's work. For now, that someone is me. Also note that Zarathustra is none but a character created by Nietzsche to express his ideas. Therefore, Zarathustra and Nietzsche will be used interchangeably for this discourse. Let's dive in. Zarathustra's take on The Road Not Taken. Why hasn't Frost used path or trail instead of road in the poem? Road is artificial. It's man-made. Man has the responsibility to carve his own journey, not an external force, not a divine force, not God of all the things. God is dead. God is dead is the most popular phrase in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. God is dead, of his pity for man has God died. Let's take few pop culture references citing our relationship with God. Here is Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Shut up! Our fathers were models for God. If our fathers failed, what does that tell you about God? Listen to me. You have to consider the possibility that God does not like you. He never wanted you. In all probability, he hates you. This is not the worst thing that can.
Here is Tyler Durden yet again from 12th century BC. Just kidding. That's Achilles from Troy. Both characters played by Brad Pitt.
The gods envy us. They envy us because we're mortal. Because any moment might be our last. Everything's more beautiful because we're doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now.
Now, whether the gods hate us, love us, envy us, or pity us did not matter to Nietzsche. So did to Tyler Durden. In fact, even God did not matter to Tyler. What really bothered Nietzsche was religious escapism, a guarantee of heaven in afterlife promised by religions. Thus spoke Zarathustra. The sick and dying, it was they who despised the body and the earth, and invented the heavenly world, and the redeeming drops of blood, but even those sweet and dismal poisons they borrowed from the body and the earth. Zarathustra urges humans to be true to the earth. Either get things right on this planet or don't get it right at all. Thus for Nietzsche, this was it. All the life that there could be on the earth, not an afterlife, not a heaven, which is bountiful and beautiful as emphasized by Achilles earlier. As per Nietzsche, forsaking God comes with its own trouble, a dark period of nihilism. Nihil means nothing, and nihilists believe that life has no purpose and there are no moral values to uphold. At least God and religion did impart a purpose to humanity. With the death of God, humanity is purposeless and immoral. Thus, to overcome this void left by death of God, Nietzsche proposed the concept of Übermensch or Overman, or roughly translated in English as Superman. An Overman is someone who can create his own values to overcome the weaknesses current man possesses. Hence, the Overman. An Overman uses discontentment as the fuel to drive change. Zarathustra, upon descending from the mountain and going back to the adjoining town, encounters a captive audience. ready to witness a show by a tightrope walker. While the tightrope walker was getting ready backstage, Zarathustra began his sermon and audience listened, assuming him to be the tightrope walker and sermon being a part of the act. Thus spoke Zarathustra. I teach you the Overman. Man is something to be surpassed. What have you done to surpass him? Man is a rope stretched between animal and Overman, a rope over an abyss. The two choices between animals and Overman are the two roads diverged in the wood. For Nietzsche, standing at the proverbial crossroads, a man has two choices: give in to your primal instincts or overcome the animal and thus tend towards an Overman. Nietzsche further says, what is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. This resonates with the poem as throughout the poem, specifically in the second stanza, the comparison between the two roads has not been made on the basis of the end destination, rather on the characteristic of the road. Apes are to humans what humans will be to Overman. And Overman is an evolutionary gift to our descendants, and hence what should matter to ourselves should be the journey rather than the destination. The third stanza is an interesting take on regret, the inability to reverse the flow of time and decision, to go back and choose the other path, or rather the inability as an individual to traverse both the paths. This is where Nietzsche, according to me, proposes his most interesting concept. In his other work, Ecce Homo, Nietzsche speaks about amor fati, love for one's fate. Nietzsche says, my formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. A lot of our internal struggles are entwined with the memories of past events, the regrets, failures, and inability to make the right decisions as apparent in the hindsight. Nietzsche grabs this fateful past by its neck and twists it hard, exclaiming, to redeem what is past and to transform every it was into thus would I have it. That only do I call redemption. What he meant is, this is present. Whatever happened in past is what I wanted to happen. I willed it, even the misfortunes. And now, the future lies ahead. I'm stronger than I was, and with this newfound strength I shall forge my future and redeem myself. Nietzsche's most popular quote sums up this philosophy. Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stronger. Joker from Dark Knight has a sinister take on it. He twists it like he twists the soul of his nemesis, attempting to break their spirit.
What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
When an event leaves one scarred and scared for life, life stops mattering anymore. It changes that person. The new person is a complete stranger. Let the life scar you but never scare you. Be onward with life. And let's move onward to the last stanza of The Road Not Taken. This is the trick stanza. Narrator never mentions that he took the road less traveled, rather states that somewhere down the line he will be glorifying himself as that stoic who sacrificed and chose the road less traveled, no matter which road he chose. This is not an earnest act in redemption, rather an act of self-deception, a norm for humans. Preparing how to justify your future past, expecting an eventual failure, is a failure even before the failure itself. While for Nietzsche, justification did not exist. What matters is to fall in love with all the trials and tribulations of life, rejoicing in past miseries, renouncing the desire to alter a past, no matter how tempting, over which one has no power, and taking eventual miseries head on. This is the gateway to redemption. But what is the fuel to redemption? Discontentment. This is where Nietzsche's philosophy takes a radical approach from Asian spiritual masters as discussed in the last episode. Thus spoke Buddha, I am content. Remember the rope analogy given by Zarathustra where man is a rope tied between animal and overman? As Nietzsche wrote, what is great in man is that he is a bridge and not an end. It is the discontentment that drives man to cross the bridge to attain overman. If the man was content, he would have settled somewhere amidst. Since this is a proverbial bridge with no end, the end point keeps shifting though never being in sight. Nietzsche says, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. In my opinion, Nietzsche's discontentment with contentment and Asian master's contentment with discontentment is a balancing act like the balancing act of the tightrope walker. Growth is not possible without discontentment and life stops making sense without some degree of contentment. In the comments section below, mention your biggest source of discontentment and what steps are you taking to mitigate it. Though how much of a catch-22 situation it sounds, I hope we will be able to cultivate the ability to be content with our discontentment as well as to be discontent with our contentment. Till then, signing off with this quote by Zarathustra. Thus spoke Zarathustra. What is the greatest experience you can have? It is the hour of the great contempt, the hour in which your happiness too arouses your disgust and even your reason and your virtue. The hour when you say, what matters my happiness? It is poverty and filth and wretched contentment.